Whispers of the Unknown. Episode 1. The Girl in the Water Tank. The Bizarre Death of Elisa Lam. Hosted by Arthur Pembroke. Hello everyone. My name is Arthur Pembroke, and welcome to Whispers of the Unknown. Today I will be telling you the first story from my collection of 100 unsolved mysteries. 100 cases. 100 stories that the world never fully explained. And we begin with one of the most disturbing. What if I told you that hundreds of people drank something and had no idea what was in it? What if I told you a young girl vanished inside a hotel and nobody noticed for 19 days? And what if I told you that the last footage of her alive shows her doing something that no police officer, no scientist, no psychiatrist has ever been able to fully explain? This is the story of Elisa Lam. January 2013. A 21-year-old girl named Elisa Lam boards a train in San Diego, California. She is a student from Vancouver, Canada. Bright, curious, a writer, the kind of person who posts about bookstores and rainy mornings and means every single word. This trip is her adventure, a solo journey up the west coast of America. Just her journal, and the open road. Her parents were worried, of course. She was traveling alone, so they made a simple agreement. Elisa would call them every single day. And she did. Every day. Without fail. Until she didn't. On January 26th, Elisa checked into a hotel in downtown Los Angeles. The Cecil Hotel. If you know anything about the Cecil, you already feel something shift right now. Because the Cecil is not just a hotel. It is a place where tragedy seems to live inside the walls. Since opening in 1924, the Cecil had been the site of at least 16 unnatural deaths. Suicides, murders, disappearances. Serial killer Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, once lived on the top floor. The story goes that after each killing, he would return to the Cecil, remove his bloody clothes at the door, and walk inside as though nothing had happened. The hotel sits on the edge of Skid Row, one of the most desperate and dangerous corners of Los Angeles. And this is where Elisa Lam chose to sleep. Shortly after checking in, Elisa was moved from a shared room to a private one. Her roommates had complained. They said she was acting strangely, leaving notes on their door, demanding passwords to enter the room, saying things that made no sense. The hotel staff noticed something was off, but no one stopped her. No one reached out. No one asked if she was okay. January 31st, 2013. The day Elisa was supposed to check out. The day she was supposed to travel on to Santa Cruz. That morning, a woman at a nearby bookstore saw Elisa browsing the shelves. She later described her as outgoing, lively, and friendly. Elisa was buying gifts to bring home to her family. That was the last normal moment anyone can confirm. That afternoon, Elisa stepped into an elevator on the 14th floor of the Cecil Hotel. A security camera was watching. What it captured became one of the most watched, most debated, most deeply unsettling pieces of footage in the history of the internet. In the footage, Elisa enters the elevator. She presses multiple buttons, floor after floor. But the elevator does not move. The doors stay open. She steps outside into the hallway. She looks left. She looks right. Then she steps back inside. Then outside again. Then back inside. She presses herself into the corner of the elevator, as though she is hiding from something. Or someone. Then she steps into the hallway one more time. And her hands begin to move. Slowly. Deliberately. Almost as though she is speaking to someone we cannot see. Her fingers stretch and curl. Her arms float gently upward. Like someone whose strings are being pulled by something just outside the frame. Then she walks away down the hallway. Out of frame. Out of sight. And she is never seen alive again. Days passed. Elisa's parents stopped receiving her calls. They flew to Los Angeles. Police searched the hotel floor by floor. They even brought dogs to track her scent. Nothing. Then the complaints began. Hotel guests started noticing something wrong with the water. The pressure was low, the color was off, and the taste was something they could not quite describe. On February 19th, 19 days after Elisa vanished, a maintenance worker climbed to the roof of the Cecil Hotel. He scaled a ladder, he lifted a heavy metal lid off one of 4 large rooftop water tanks, and he looked inside. Elisa Lam was there, floating face up in the water, naked, her clothes drifting slowly beside her. Those same tanks supplied water to every room in the hotel, the kitchen, the coffee shop, every faucet, every shower, for 19 days. The coroner ruled it an accidental drowning. Bipolar disorder was listed as a significant factor. Elisa had stopped taking her medication. The pill count in her room confirmed it. They believed she had suffered a severe psychological episode and wandered to the roof alone. But here is where the story refuses to close. The rooftop of the Cecil was restricted. To reach it, you had to either climb a fire escape on the outside of the building or use an interior staircase through a door that was locked and fitted with an alarm that should have triggered the moment it was opened. No alarm was reported that night, and the water tank itself required climbing a separate ladder and lifting a heavy metal lid. Alone. In the dark. On a rooftop she had never visited before. How did she get up there? And there is one more thing. The maintenance worker who found Elisa stated that when he arrived at the tank, the hatch was open, but by the time police arrived, it was closed. Someone had shut it. Now, I want to tell you something that will stay with you. At the exact same time as Elisa's death, there was a tuberculosis outbreak in the Skid Row neighborhood surrounding the Cecil Hotel, and the name of the medical test being used to detect that tuberculosis was called Lam Elisa. And then there is the 2005 horror film called Dark Water. In it, a young girl falls into a rooftop water tank at a hotel. The water turns dark. Guests begin to complain. The girl's name in that film is Cece, as in the Cecil Hotel. And in the elevator footage, Elisa is wearing a red jacket, exactly like the one worn by the child in that film. I will let you sit with that. Elisa Lam was 21 years old, a writer, a daughter, a traveller who called her parents every single day to let them know she was safe. The official verdict says it was an accident, a mind unravelling without its medication. A frightened girl who found her way to the roof alone in the dark. And maybe that is exactly what happened. But the questions remain. The locked door with no alarm, the heavy lid, the closed hatch, the video that no expert has ever fully explained. Some cases are solved by evidence, and some cases are only deepened by it. This has been episode 1 of Whispers of the Unknown. I am Arthur Pembroke. The truth is out there, if you are brave enough to follow it, whisper by whisper.